I've been driving a delivery van for a warehouse in Tulsa for about 2 years now. It's not a dream job. Loading boxes, dodging traffic, hauling ass to make deadlines. But it pays enough to keep my fridge stocked and my dog fed. The night shift, midnight to 8 a.m., is my slot. I like it better than days. Less traffic, fewer people hassling me. Just me, the open road, and a thermos of black coffee. The warehouse sits on the edge of town, surrounded by flat, empty fields and a few sketchy gas stations. Most of my runs are local, dropping off packages to stores or offices before they open. It's routine, predictable, until it isn't. I start my shift checking the van, making sure the tires are good and the cargo's secure. Then I punch the addresses into the GPS and roll out, radio on low, some country station to fill the silence. The roads are quiet at night, just the occasional semi or cop car cruising by. I keep my eyes peeled for deer. They're always darting out of nowhere this time of year. Every few stops, I stretch my legs, chug some coffee, and scribble my signature on the delivery log. It's mindless, but I'm used to it. Last fall, though, I had a night that still messes with me. It was late October, chilly enough for a jacket, with a thick fog rolling in off the fields. I was halfway through my route, maybe 3 a.m., dropping off a load at a strip mall on the outskirts. The place was dead, shuttered stores, flickering streetlights, not a soul around. I parked by the loading dock, grabbed the boxes, and started stacking them by the door. That's when I noticed my van's headlights were catching something in the fog, like a shape moving just out of sight. I squinted, figuring it was a stray dog or maybe a raccoon, but it was too big, too upright. I called out, "Hey, who's there?" My voice echoed off the concrete, but no answer came. Just the hum of the van's engine and the drip of condensation from a leaky gutter. I grabbed my flashlight from the cab, shining it into the fog. Nothing. I laughed it off. Too much coffee, not enough sleep, but my gut was tight. I finished the drop quick, tossing the boxes sloppier than usual, and climbed back into the van. As I pulled out, my headlights swept the lot, and I swear I saw it again. A figure, tall and thin, standing at the edge of the pavement, just staring. No face I could make out, just a silhouette against the fog. I hit the gas, heart thumping, and kept driving. The GPS sent me to my next stop, a small auto shop a few miles down a back road. The fog was thicker now, cutting my visibility to maybe 20 feet. I was gripping the wheel, eyes darting to the mirrors, half expecting that thing to show up again. When I got to the shop, I parked close to the door, leaving the engine running. I grabbed the package, a small box, light as hell, and jogged to the drop-off point. That's when I heard footsteps. Not mine. Heavy, deliberate, crunching gravel behind me. I spun around, flashlight shaking, but the fog swallowed everything. "This ain't funny," I yelled, my voice cracking. The footsteps stopped. I dropped the box and bolted for the van, slamming the door and locking it. My hands were sweaty, fumbling with the keys. I peeled out, tires squealing, and didn't look back until I hit the main road. The fog thinned out, and I started breathing again, telling myself I was just spooked. But when I checked the rear view, something was off. The cargo door, wide open. I know I shut it. I pulled over, cursing, and checked the back. One box was missing, a heavy one I'd loaded myself. No way it fell out on its own. I reported it to my boss the next day, said it was stolen, kept the creepy stuff to myself. He chewed me out, docked my pay, but I didn't care. I still drive the route, but I avoid that strip mall when I can. Sometimes, when the fog's heavy, I think I see that figure again, just out of reach. I don't stop to look anymore. I just drive. I've been a night auditor at a motel just off I-40 in Flagstaff for about a year now. It's a low-key gig, checking in late guests, running reports, balancing the books, pays decent, and I don't mind the solitude. The motel's nothing fancy, a 2-story L-shaped building with faded paint and a neon sign that buzzes like a dying fly. It's mostly truckers and budget travelers passing through, folks who don't linger. The night shift, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., is quiet. Just me behind the front desk, sipping bad coffee and watching snow dust the parking lot through the lobby's smudged windows. I start my shift relieving the evening clerk, counting the cash drawer, and printing the day's receipts. Then it's just me, the hum of the vending machine and the occasional rumble of a semi pulling in. I keep the TV on low, some late-night talk show to break the silence, and check the security monitors every so often. The cameras are grainy, covering the lot, the stairwells, and the hallway by the ice machine. Most nights nothing moves but shadows from the headlights sweeping by. I like it that way. Predictable. But one night last March, things went sideways. It was a frigid night, the kind where the cold seeps through the glass and makes your bones ache. I was halfway through my shift, maybe 2:30 a.m., running an audit report when the lobby door chimed. Nobody walked in. I leaned over the counter, peering out, but the lot was empty. Just my car and a couple of guest pickups under a layer of fresh snow. I figured the wind caught the door, so I stepped out to check. The air stung my face and the door was shut tight, no gaps. Weird, but I shrugged it off and went back inside. Back at the desk, I noticed the security monitors flickering. Not all at once, just the one by the second floor hallway. It'd go static, then clear, then static again. I tapped the screen, thinking it was a loose cable, but it kept up. Then I saw something, a shape, quick and blurry, dart across the frame. Looked like a person, hunched over, moving too fast to make out. My pulse kicked up. We had maybe 6 guests checked in, all logged as single travelers, no groups. I grabbed the master key and my flashlight, figuring I'd check it out. Better than sitting there spooked. The second floor hallway was dead quiet, just the faint hum of the heater. The carpet smelled musty, and the fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. I walked slow, shining my light into the corners, checking each door. All locked, no signs of tampering. I was about to head back when I heard it. A soft, wet cough, like someone trying to muffle it. It came from room 214, an empty unit. I checked my log earlier. Nobody was booked there. I knocked, called out, "Hello? Motel staff." Nothing. Just that cough again. Faint. I used the master key, my hand shaky. The room was dark, stale, with that cheap motel smell of old smoke and bleach. Bed untouched, curtains drawn. I flicked on the light and my flashlight caught something under the bed. A pair of boots, scuffed and muddy, toes pointing out like someone was lying there. My mouth went dry. "Come out, now," I said, gripping the key like a weapon. No answer. I knelt down, heart hammering, and shone my light. The boots were empty, just sitting there, mud still wet, trailing across the carpet to the bathroom door. I backed up, debating whether to call the cops. Then the bathroom door creaked, just an inch, like someone nudged it. I bolted, slamming the room door behind me, and ran back to the lobby. I dialed 911, babbling about an intruder, my voice all over the place. Cops showed up 20 minutes later, checked the room. Boots were gone, no mud, no nothing. They gave me a look like I was wasting their time. Said maybe I'd imagined it. But I know what I saw. I still work the shift, bills don't pay themselves, but I keep the lobby door locked now, and I don't check the cameras unless I have to. Sometimes, late at night, I hear that cough again. Faint, like it's right behind the desk. I don't turn around. I just wait for morning. I've been a night stalker at a big box store in Reno for going on 4 years. It's grunt work, unloading pallets, shelving canned goods, dodging the occasional shoplifter who sneaks in before closing. Pays the rent though, and I like the night shift, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. The store's massive, all fluorescent lights and endless aisles, with a warehouse vibe in the back where we stack boxes. At night, it's just a skeleton crew. Me, a couple other stalkers, and the manager who's usually napping in the office. It's quiet, just the hum of the freezers and the squeak of my sneakers on the polished floor. I start my shift grabbing a box cutter and a pallet jack. Checking the delivery list, we unload trucks, sort inventory, and stock shelves before the morning rush. I keep my earbuds in, some old punk rock to keep me moving, but low enough to hear if someone calls me on the radio. The store's creepy when it's empty. Too big, too bright, with shadows that play tricks in the corners. I stick to my routine, aisle by aisle, and try not to think about how the place feels like it's watching me. Last summer, though, I had a night I can't shake. It was July, hot as hell even at midnight. The air conditioner struggling to keep up. I was in the back, breaking down a pallet of dog food. Sweat sticking my shirt to my back. The other stalkers were up front, and the manager was nowhere to be seen, probably snoring. I was alone in the stockroom, just me and the buzz of the overhead lights. That's when I heard it. A low, guttural hum, like someone chanting under their breath. It wasn't the radio or my music, too deep, too close. I yanked out my earbuds, listening hard. It was coming from the far end of the stockroom, near the loading bay. I called out, "Yo, that you, Mike?" Thinking it was another stalker messing around. No answer, just that hum, steady and rhythmic, like a prayer or something weirder. I grabbed my box cutter, more for comfort than anything, and walked toward the sound. The stockroom's a maze of crates and shrink-wrapped pallets, and the lights back there are dim, flickering, like they're on their last legs. The hum got louder, then stopped, like someone flipped the switch. I shone my flashlight around, expecting to see a coworker, or maybe a homeless guy who'd slipped in. Nothing. Just stacks of boxes and the faint smell of cardboard and dust. Then I saw it. A stack of crates. Shifted like someone had pushed them aside. Behind them, on the concrete floor, was a chalk outline. Rough, uneven, shaped like a person lying flat. It wasn't there yesterday. I'd have noticed. My skin prickled. I knelt down, my flashlight catching smudges in the chalk, like fingerprints, and a faint red stain in the center, like spilled wine. My stomach lurched. I backed up, my radio crackling with static making me jump. "Hey, anyone back here?" I shouted, my voice echoing. No response, but I heard footsteps, slow, deliberate, coming from the other side of the crates. I bolted, weaving through the stockroom, my heart pounding so hard I thought it'd burst. I didn't stop until I reached the break room, where I found Mike eating a sandwich, clueless. I told him what I saw, but when we went back with the manager, the chalk outline was gone, the floor clean like it had been mopped. They thought I was losing it, said maybe I'd seen graffiti or spilled paint. But I know what I saw, and that red stain wasn't paint. I checked the security tapes later, on my own. The camera in the stockroom was dead for an hour that night, just static. I still work the shift, need the money for my kids' school stuff, but I don't go to the loading bay alone anymore. Sometimes, when I'm stacking boxes, I hear that hum again, faint, like it's buried in the walls. I don't look for it. I just keep my head down and pray the sun comes up soon. I've been a toll booth operator on a lonely stretch of highway outside Boise for about 5 years now. It's not much, collecting cash, handing out change, waving semis through, but it keeps my bills paid and my coffee pot full. The night shift, 9 p.m. to 5 a.m., is my time. It's just me in a cramped booth, surrounded by asphalt and sagebrush, with nothing but the occasional headlights and the buzz of my space heater for company. The booth's got a small radio, a flickering light, and a window that's always streaked with dust. Most nights it's dead quiet, just the hum of the interstate and the rustle of wind across the flats. I start my shift settling in, counting the drawer, and checking the ticket machine. Cars come in spurts, truckers mostly, or late-night commuters heading to the city. I keep a log, jotting down plates for cash payments, and sip coffee to stay sharp. The radio plays old country, crackling when the signal dips. There's a security camera above the booth, but it's more for show. The feed's grainy, and nobody checks it unless something goes wrong. I like the solitude. Gives me time to think, but some nights it feels like the darkness is pressing against the glass. One night last February, something got under my skin. It was a raw, windy night, the kind where the cold sneaks through the booth's cracks and makes your fingers stiff. I was halfway through my shift, maybe 1 a.m., when a car pulled up. An old sedan, rusted at the edges, windows too tinted to see inside. The driver rolled down the window just a crack, enough to slide a crumpled 5 through. No face, no voice, just a gloved hand. I called out the change, but they didn't respond. Just sat there, engine idling. I leaned forward, squinting, and caught a glimpse of something in the passenger seat. A shape, slumped, like a person who wasn't moving. My gut twisted. I handed the change back, and the car peeled out, kicking up gravel. I shook it off, figuring it was just some weirdo, but the booth felt smaller after that. About an hour later, the radio cut to static, loud and sharp, making me jump. I fiddled with the dial, but it wouldn't clear. Then, through the crackle, I heard a voice, low, garbled, like someone muttering my name. I froze, staring at the radio. It wasn't a song or a DJ. It was deliberate, like someone was trying to reach me. I turned it off, my hands clammy, but the static kept going, faint, like it was coming from outside. I checked the window, nothing but the empty road and the wind howling through the barriers. Then the camera feed flickered. I glanced up, and the screen showed the booth from above. But something was wrong. There was a shadow behind me, tall and still, like someone standing just out of sight. I whipped around, heart hammering, but the booth was empty. I grabbed my flashlight, shining it into the corners, under the counter. Nothing. When I looked back at the screen, the shadow was gone, but the feed cut to black. That's when I heard it. A tap on the glass, slow and heavy, like a knuckle rapping twice. Tap, tap. I spun toward the window, but the road was deserted, just the wind swirling dust under the streetlights. I didn't move for a long time, just sat there, gripping the flashlight, my breath fogging the glass. I called my supervisor on the radio, but it was dead, just more static. When the next car came through, a tired-looking trucker, I nearly cried with relief. I didn't tell him what happened. He'd think I was nuts. The rest of the shift, I kept the booth locked, lights dim, waiting for dawn. I still work the tolls. Can't afford not to. But I don't trust the radio anymore, and I keep a knife in my bag, just in case. Some nights, when the wind's up, I hear that tap-tap on the glass, faint, like it's testing me. I don't look. I just count the hours till morning.